Main man Dice back up in his mug. What's the day? July 23rd. And I'm tired in the mug, y'all. I ain't gonna hold you. I know it's been like 3 weeks. My last recording was in June. It felt like it was last week. But it's been a hot summer. It's crazy up here in the Northeast. If you up here in this New York, New Jersey, Tri-State, DC, DMV area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's hot, man. It's real hot. Um, but I read something recently. They said, just do it when you're hungry, do it when you're tired, do it when you're lazy. Just do it. You know what I mean? So I'm just doing it, y'all. I'm just doing it despite being hungry, tired, and hot. That's what she said. But anyway, it's your main man Dice checking in, diceyworld.com. Check out my socials, DICEYW0RLD on the Twitter, Instagram on the gram, DICEYW0RLD.C0M. We're gonna get right into it, everybody. Last time you hold on. Previously on Dicey World, I had your main man Tate's Take. Shout out to the young Tater, the great Tate. We were just previewing and talking about summer league, what to expect, some players to check for. I remember Tate gave us three. I remember one, Will Riley. I'll get into him in a minute. Pause. But yeah, just give you my quick summer league reactions right quick. Um, let's see, what do we have here? All right, first and foremost, Cooper Flag. So I was on the record for a while now calling Cooper Flag the next coming of Tom Gugliotta. Some people thought it was a diss, but if you look at Gugliotta's stats, he was an all-star, maybe one time or two-time all-star. In his rookie year, he averaged like 15 points and 9 rebounds, and that was the comparison I was trying to make in terms of impact based on the players on the Dallas Mavericks team. Like, I don't see Cooper making a great impact like a typical number one of that stature and that hype would have. Kyrie might come back later on this year. You already have Anthony Davis and just a slew full of veterans on the team. So I'm not even sure he might start to begin the season. But that's all I was saying. I think he's a great player, good player. I just need to see it in the league. And so, he had his summer league introduction, his first game. Uh, I forget who was it against, but he only had 10 points. He played 31 minutes. A lot of people were texting me, just raving about Cooper Flag. And even though he was 5 or 20, 10 points, despite that, I wasn't tripping on the production. I was very impressed on his aggression, his aggressiveness, taking 20 shots. That's showing me he's not letting his confidence, stray. Um, he has a short memory. Your best shooters their mentality is I'm going to make the next one. If I make one in a row, I'm on fire. So I like that. Pretty athletic. Had a good feel for the game. If I remember correctly, when the ball tipped and he got the ball, I think the opponent, they blitzed him, they trapped him instantly, and he was able to maneuver and he broke the trap. And then a couple other times, possessions later, subsequently, they trapped him again and he broke the trap. So I feel like the league, well, the opponents just from early were trying to test his ball handling abilities and skills. And to be 6'8", 6'9", it was pretty decent. I mean, I can see him playing point forward on a need to basis, but I'm not sure if he's going to be like a Scottie Pippen, Grant Hill, LeBron James type point forward. Second game against the Lakers, against Bronny. And let me shout out to Bronny, because I will say, if you watch that game, Bronny looked like a totally different player. He looked confident. He looked like he belonged. He looked like he didn't have any butterflies in the system. He was aggressive. And I liked the way he was going at Cooper. I believe he scored like the first 5 points of the game, at least for the Lakers. And he dropped a three in Cooper's face. He dropped another jump shot in Cooper's face. And Bronny's like what, 6'1", 6'2" at the highest, at the tallest. And I saw him in the post defending Cooper, and he was holding his own. And one time they called a foul on Bronny, and it looked like a good defensive play. He swiped at the ball, knocked it loose, and they called a foul on him. So shout out to Bronny. And even the subsequent games, Bronny looked very comfortable. I want to say he led his team in scoring a couple times. So I definitely think he's going to play into a steady, consistent role or position in the Lakers rotation. I mean, like I said, if you juxtapose Bronny Summer League from last year to this year, totally different player. It's like night and day. He looks like an NBA player. He looks like a defensive stalwart. You can put him on 1 through 4, and I think he'll be a capable defender. And his jump shot looked decent, and he was more aggressive. Like I said, it's funny confidence, how far confidence will take you. Like I said, last year he looked kind of uncertain. He had butterflies. This year he looked like he belonged, and dare I say, had a little swagger. But in that same game, Cooper Flag, second game, Coop played a lot of minutes. He did have 30-plus points. And he did look good against second-team Summer League players, against players who won't even make the team, most likely. So, like I said, I want to say yeah, but I'm going to really reserve my judgment until I see him play against first-team NBA All-Star, not All-Star, but first-team starters, NBA starters. And then I'll reserve my judgment because I'm still not sure if Cooper's going to be able to beat anybody off the dribble, if he's going to be able to get a shot off, if he's going to just put the ball on the floor. I'm very curious. It looked decent in the Summer League. He did. He didn't look scary. The skills looked there. It was apparent. I just got to see it officially happen against NBA competition. But the intangibles that led me to feel like Luka was going to be straight, I'm starting to see those intangibles in Cooper. Just like the way he talk, his body motion, the way he moving on the court. Like real hoopers know what I'm talking about. It's like a certain way, a certain walk, just a certain movement off the ball, with the ball, and he has that down pack. So I'm not mad at Cooper Flag so far. Another guy that caught my attention was Trey Johnson, guard from Washington Wizards. Look out for him. He was getting buckets. I believe he went to the University of Texas. He was a bucket getter. Ace Bailey, he showed flashes. He looked taller on TV than I thought he was. I mean, I originally thought he was like 6'9", 6'10", and then I want to say during the NBA Combine, the metrics said he was like closer to 6'6" or 6'7", but seeing him on the court, he looked like for sure a solid 6'8". But his game looked good to me, aggressive, had no problem getting the shot off. He was coming off a couple times, but I think he's going to be straight. Shout out to his second-year teammate, Kyle Filipowski, Utah Jazz, out of Duke, second-round player from Duke. He looked straight. As a matter of fact, Filipowski was looking decent at the end of last year for the Utah Jazz, like the last month or two. I think he got a couple spot starts. But he was doing his thing to the tune of averaging 29 points a game in the Summer League. I want to say he was definitely the MVP of the Summer League. So shout out to Kyle Filipowski, Utah Jazz. My man, Walter Clayton Jr., he was decent from the University of Florida, playing point guard, shooting guard for Utah Jazz. He was decent. Con Knueppel, he led his team, the Charlotte Hornets, to the Summer League championship. He averaged like 15, 16 points a game, so he was more decent than I thought he was. Alex Sarr was decent, and he should be. He was the number 2 pick last year, playing against Summer League dudes, but he looked decent. And then my man Will Riley, one of the 3 picks that my man D takes had warned us about. I was ready to get on here and kind of get on for Tate because for the game I saw what Riley play, he was kind of quiet for like the first 2.5 quarters. Then he picked it up. I definitely saw a smooth game, nice solid midi, jump shot, post game was cool. So he'll be all right. He'll be decent. Will Riley. And then lastly, now this dude, he might not make a team. He might not make a roster when the season starts, but it's a Dominican dude, Spanish dude from the Spurs, David Jones Garcia. If you saw him, then he's pretty decent. He's got like an old man game, I mean, he's 24, 25 years old. I guess that's old in the NBA nowadays. But his player comp to me, he just reminded me like of a Chris Middleton or a Michael Redd, as a matter of fact. But anyway, I'm sure there were other stars, other players, but those are some of the names that stood out to me. Um, yeah, now let's go on to NBA free agency moves and just write down the line right quick. Bradley Beal is going to the Clippers. That's cool. Does it move the needle? I got to quote my man Aleem. Aleem said, yo, this would have been a squad in 2019, especially 2017 with Chris Paul on the team now. But Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, James Harden, you got Collins from the Hawks, the Jazz. Um, they picked up a free agent. I want to say Lopez from the Bucks, and you got Harden. So on paper, it's a decent starting lineup. I think Bill's going to play with more motivation. He's going to play with a sense of urgency and reinvigoration. Uh, Chris Paul, he's not going to be the 2017 Chris Paul, but you know, you got 15,000 assists coming off the bench. So I think he'll be a more than serviceable point guard, um, backup point guard. So I can see the Clippers winning like 44, 45 games, but it's all contingent on the health of their main stars, aka Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. And then lastly, Dame Dash. Shout out to Dame Dash for finessing the situation. Like maybe him popping his Achilles was a blessing in disguise because he ended up making $70 million per year. He got a buyout from the Milwaukee Bucks, which is going to pay him like 55, 56 million per year. Then he signed a free agent deal with the Portland Trailblazers. That's going to pay him like $14 million. So they pay him $14 million to come back home. So he getting $70 million a year. I really think that was an emotional decision. Shout out to Dame. He said, "I'm gonna chase this ring one time. I'm gonna link up with Giannis, the Greek freak." Things didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. Sometimes, you know, all those shoes that's out there isn't a good fit. But shout out to Dame for trying that shoe on. He walked around in it. His foot was kind of squeezed, so he had to get up out of that. But he tried the new shoe though. That's all you can ask for. Just try the new shoe on, and then if it don't fit, then go back to your comfy shoes. And Portland was his comfortable shoes, and his family is there. I definitely feel like Dame prioritized family over basketball. So shout out to him. His kids are there. I believe he has a daughter. So Dame definitely selected to go where his family is and have a comfort zone. So I'm not mad at that either. Um, Kind of basketball related, but not really though. Um, I just made this up. I haven't heard it officially, but if it does come up, you heard it here first from me. Clagan the Maverick, shout out to Klay Thompson and Meg the Stallion, Megan the Stallion. It kind of threw me off. But if you heard my podcast from a couple episodes ago that I did not promote on the Instagram page, I was basically going in and just saying how black women are not protected, always get the short end of the stick, always, guilty before proven innocent, all that, man. I was going ham and just in honor of protecting black women in their honor. But shout out to Klay. Klay, in my Shaq voice, I apologize. I was not aware of your game. I just thought Klay was the master of exoticals and other blacks, not other than blacks. You know what I mean? But somebody showed me his resume. He got a nice little lineage of just baddies, like brown skin joints too. You know what I mean? Not the little light skin and all that kind of stuff. He has some brown skin joints. So um, I think this will be good for Meg. I feel like, she's always towered and was taller than her boyfriends, her ex-boyfriends, or as tall as them, or richer than them, or had as much money. With Klay, he been in the league a bit. He has been in the league for a long time. He's been rich and famous longer than her, and he's taller than her. So all those intangibles that probably, were factors in the, I don't know, the debacle, the fall, deterioration of her last relationships. You know, they were rappers primarily, and then rappers and athletes, they're similar but different, man. But I just hope everything work out for Klay. But I'm already laughing at the memes. You know, I know y'all seen the meme when Klay when there's some kind of ball and they was doing like a little call, like call and response, and Meg was screaming out, sounding kind of annoying, and Klay had to look like, yeah, okay, and you seen all the captions like, yeah, when you got to deal with her personality after you got it, something like that. And people trying to say they'll give the relationship 6 months. I don't know, but I'm rooting for them. You know what I mean? I'm rooting for Black Love. So shout out to Clayton, the Maverick. And then lastly, man, you know, I've been seeing a lot of Kobe slander going out there, but shout out to Kyrie Irving and Matt Barnes. You know, they've been like, you know, gatekeepers of the Kobe legacy, trying to maintain the integrity and good name of Kobe. But I kind of agree with Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes said none of y'all was saying none of this stuff when Kobe was here and alive. And then Kyrie said, and I agree. I didn't even play in the NBA, but Kyrie said, if you play in the NBA against Kobe, then you know he's like obviously the top three of all time. So I'm not gonna just get into that, you know, extensively on this one. Maybe I'll do another podcast just to reestablish like real nigga, real hoop, you know, just principles. Because I feel like in this new generation with the YNs, like certain tenets and, and things that were implicit or understood, they're not understood anymore. So I gotta just establish another like 10 commandments of real niggas, real hoopers, bro. You know what I mean? So maybe I'll do that solo dolo. I know my homeboy Trend, aka Dwayne Thomas, he chimed in, so he might join me in for a podcast. But I'm definitely gonna talk about this Kobe slander, man. Just reestablish like the real nigga tenements or tenets of real hoopers. But anyway, guys, that's my time. Quick podcast this week. Wanted to get in and out. That's what she said. Um, Remember, boys and girls, anything can happen in Dicey World. I'm hasta la vista, pasta and peace. Until next time, guys, I'm out. Peace.